Welcome back to Meet the Press Now. If it's Wednesday, we have election results. And the first primaries of this midterm election year certainly had their share of surprises and some confusion as well. The big story coming overnight with NBC News projecting State Representative James Talarico has defeated Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett to win the Democratic nomination in the race for U.S. Senate. Crockett conceding the race this morning to the 36-year-old Talarico, who has won more than 53% of the vote. But we don't know his general election opponent yet. NBC News is projecting that the Republican race between Senator John Cornyn and Attorney General Ken Paxton will advance to a runoff on May 26, with neither candidate able to get to 50% last night. President Trump, however, clearly not keen on Texas Republicans engaging in a bruising battle ahead of the general election, saying today on social media that he will be making his endorsement in the race soon and that he will be asking the candidate that I don't endorse to immediately drop out of the race. That post coming after both Republicans ripped into each other last night.
I've worked for decades to build the Republican Party, both here in Texas and nationally. I refuse to allow a flawed, self-centered, and shameless candidate like Ken Paxton risk everything we've worked so hard to build over these many years.
For too long, John Cornyn has turned his back on us. For too long, he attacked the border wall by calling it naive and pushed amnesty while our country was being invaded. For too long, he stabbed our president in the back by trying to derail his presidential campaigns and supporting the Democrats' lawfare against the president.
Steve Kornacki joins me from his home away from home, the big board. Steve, great to see you. So you and I were up late last night. Hope you got a few hours of sleep. Tell us how he did it. How did James Talarico pull off his primary victory? And what does that tell us about Talarico's potential chances in a general election? Reminder, folks, a Democrat hasn't won a Senate race in more than 3 decades in Texas.
Yeah, a couple things I think went into this, Kristen. First of all, you see here, I think you start right around Talarico's political base here, which is in the Austin area, Travis County, right outside of it, too. You saw him run up monster numbers there, get monster turnout to go along with that. And I think that was part of a pattern that you saw throughout the state last night, which is the voters in particular who powered him around Austin and in some other pockets of the state, a lot of white, college-educated, sort of white-collar professional voters. We've talked about that demographic becoming more and more Democratic nationally, being highly engaged in the Trump era, extremely anti-Trump, very motivated to turn out and vote. That demographic really got behind Talarico. It delivered big numbers from around his base in Austin, but it also allowed him to make some incursions up here. This is the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. A ton of votes came out of here. You do see this was Crockett winning in Dallas County. That's where her district is, but right outside Dallas, north of Dallas in Collin County, Denton County, you see Talarico was able to make pretty big incursions in Crockett's backyard, again, powered by that sort of, white suburban vote that really turned out in droves, turned out for him. And the ultimate difference maker for him, I think, was in South Texas here, heavily Hispanic areas. He beat Crockett, 2-1. He beat her by 30 points in county after county here. So all of that, I think, added up to the difference that you see right here. What kept Crockett in it was the black vote. All of the counties that you see here, just about all of the counties you see here for Crockett, significant black population there. She clearly won the black vote overwhelmingly in this primary.
Well, it's just fascinating to see that turnout. And, of course, your point about Hispanics, Steve, that could very well be a big determining factor once we get to the general election. Let me ask you about some of the House races, though. What were some of your biggest takeaways from the House races, Steve?
Yeah, I mean, scary night for incumbents in Texas and probably incumbents nationally saying, what's the atmosphere going to be like when primaries come to their state? You already have one who's gone down. Dan Crenshaw, Republican here in the Houston suburbs. This was the only House Republican incumbent in Texas not endorsed by Donald Trump. And boy, did it show in the results. Crenshaw losing to Steve Toth. By the way, the part of this district that really did Crenshaw in is right here. This is Montgomery County. No county in America delivered a bigger plurality to Donald Trump in 2024 than this county. So arguably the most pro-Trump big county in America sides against the one candidate not endorsed by Trump, incumbent in Texas. You go look in the 18th district here, two Democratic incumbents squaring off against each other. It is going to go to a runoff. A bit of a surprise here. A lot of folks thought that Al Green, longtime incumbent, was the underdog here against Christian Menifee, who was just elected 5 weeks ago. They are going to go to a runoff. There will be an incumbent, obviously, who will lose there. How about this one? Colin Allred, Democrat who used to be a House member, coming back, running against the Democrat who took the seat that he vacated, Julie Johnson. This is going to go to a runoff, but Allred leading preliminarily, double-digit margin over Johnson. There's an incumbent who's in big danger there in the runoff. Another incumbent in big danger, Tony Gonzalez, headed towards a runoff. There's been a scandal involving Gonzalez lately. He finishes behind Brandon Herrera in the preliminary. And then you take a look over even in North Carolina here. Here's an incumbent, Valerie Foushee, two-term incumbent. She is ahead by 1,200 votes, 1% over her challenger, a Sanders-backed progressive insurgent. Scattering of votes left here. You see, we don't have a check mark. We haven't called it yet, but Foushee may have done just enough to survive there.
Wow.
But certainly not enough if you're an incumbent looking on nationally saying, how's the atmosphere? It can be tough for an incumbent right now.
Yeah, incumbents undoubtedly very jittery when they see those results. Steve, thank you so much. It was great to be up late with you watching all of the results come in last night. Great to see you as always.
Always fun to do it. Thanks, Kristen.
We thank you for watching. And remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.